right there from Moi Avenue, just giving us the perspective of what is going on in the picture of really what is going on. And we've seen protesters engaging with the police. The protesters are throwing stones on this other side, and the police are throwing tear gas canisters and even bringing out the water cannons, the lorries that we've seen there, trying to separate the protesters who have gone now on the other side of the road in order for them to continue with the protest. And police in Nairobi CBD, remember, as Jeff told us earlier, have been using tear gas canisters, and as protests continue to take shape. And from what we've heard, earlier on in the day, there were not as many as they are at this time. And it seems that as the moments continue, as the hours continue going on, the numbers continue increasing. Now, this is after the police lorry also, the lorries have come out in order for them to just separate these huge numbers of protesters rather, who have gathered in Moi Avenue and trying to make sure that they are heard. And as we can see on the far part, even as we are trying to look at what is going on in the CBD, we can look at very many of the protesters who are on the other side of the road. And as demonstrators have also been gathered in groups along different streets in the town, as we've seen as well. And as we saw in Nakuru, many of the protesters, the young people, came out in order for them to just say that they are not satisfied with what has happened with the government, and also the day and the journalist who was injured, the lady who was injured as she was covering the protests right there in Nakuru. And on your screens there, that is this is the side where the police are standing away from the Moi Avenue on this other side of the road, trying to just I think just make sure that they are now set for the other part of the road where the protesters have gone and crowded over on the other side, where we've seen the tear gas canisters being taken to. And earlier on, protesters barricaded very many roads, as we saw in Kitengela, where the youths barricaded the main road, where they put very many of the stones there, not making way for motorists to use this particular road. And we've seen that as well, where Innocent Ogaro was telling us that many of the businesses there were also closed, with some of the businesses as well, as we saw on the petrol station there, the gas, where the gas were being stored there, it was vandalized, and some people tried to steal the gases from that side. And as we have been seeing people scampering for safety, they scattered. The stones have been scattered on the road, of course, in the CBD, as we've seen on Moi Avenue, rendering it impassable for motorists. And as we've seen as well, many motorists are not using that road. And on your screens there, that is a protester being pushed away in order for them, for him not to engage with other protesters there. And those are the police sending him away with the journalists on the other side as well. And the protesters have also barricaded, of course, Moi Avenue earlier on, forcing police to disperse them, and they are continuing with that. And right now, what we are seeing is police are trying to look for people who might be trying to cause harm, especially when it comes to the protests. Right there on your screens, those are police on this other side of the road, looking towards where the protesters are. All right, trying to look at what can be done, and with an ambulance just passing on the other side as well, trying to look at those who have been injured. Ken Gashuhi told us something in Nakuru when it came to the protests and the protesters. A protester was injured in the morning with a rubber bullet and was rushed to the hospital in order for them to just get medical attention. And we've also seen a journalist who has been injured as she was covering these protests. That is the CBD right there, Nairobi CBD, where police are looking for people. Now they've moved from the main avenue. They're coming to the inner roads of these particular avenues. trying to see if any of the people are trying to cause harm or even vandalize the various businesses that are there. And this particular side of the road, there's usually businesses that are on this particular side of the road where we usually have shops. So therefore, they're trying to look at what is happening, just making sure that they maintain peace even as they separate the protesters. Now, remember the Gen Z protests began on July 18th. And now we are not July 18th, they began just a couple of weeks ago as well. And now we are almost 3 weeks after, or 4 weeks after they started, and they have been continuing. We've been looking at what has been happening with these particular protests around Kenya. We've been looking at Nakuru, we've been looking at Mombasa, we've been looking at Nairobi, CBD, as well as Kitengela, and we'll be bringing you the latest. Keep it KTN News even as we follow up on the happenings in different areas that we've been covering today. Remember, we've gone to Nakuru, we've seen what is happening there. Kitengela, we've seen, now we are at Nairobi CBD, trying to follow up on the police as they just try to separate the protesters. My name is Kelvin Nyakundi. My colleague Hadia Mwasio will be coming in to just continue with this particular coverage. So keep it KTN News.